YouTube streaming, and via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming from our studios in Trinidad. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, Jati Samoan, the way to transcend beyond memories. Jati Samoan was the technique that was introduced by Buddha it is a method of recalling the past lives. You have to start in this life. There is a particular Western system. It is very easy to go up to the memories of age 4. Beyond that, it becomes very difficult. So it is a method how to recall the past lives, past memories. It is difficult because it is painful. That's why we keep on overlooking it, putting it under the carpet, and these remain at the forefront. From the behind this screen, they continue to work to affect your actions, lives, and emotions. It is a form of meditation, but a specific application of meditation. Meditation is one way, then it is of a different, specific technique. Meditation is like a river, and one may ask the difference between a river and a canal. River flows naturally, there is no plan for it, and it continues to flow to merge in the ocean. On the other hand, canal is a planned stream of water that is done for a specific purpose. It is controlled and systematic. River can be chaotic, unrestrained, and it too will reach somewhere, but its destination does not remain known. Which part the river will merge into the ocean, that is not sure, but canal is. Meditation will surely bring you to godliness. There are intermediary applications of meditation as well, like small tributaries. When you are working on a particular problem, then you need the canals of meditation planned. Jati Samoan is one such auxiliary method of meditation. We can channelize the energy of meditation towards our past lives as well and come out of it. Meditation simply means focusing of attention. There can be applications where the attention is focused on a particular object. For instance, if you want to focus on something, there are two ways. One is passive way, the other is active way. What is passive way of focus? You are watching the television, you are watching something on your laptop, on your smartphone, on Facebook or YouTube, You do not need the concentration, it is a passive concentration, passive focus. When it is active, you are making an effort because there are 1,001 things to distract our minds. When you are passive, so that passivity, that scene that is going on on the television screen, on your laptop or your mobile, draws your attention and keeps it intact, for which you doesn't have to do anything, just you put on your particular program or show that you are interested in, and that creates your focus. But the other is there are so many voices, so many thoughts flowing, so many emotions going on within, and within that you have to focus. That becomes an active focus. And for that, the best time is the tranquility of the night, either in the dawn, before dawn. That is why in Sufi terminology, and all those who do these mantras or any kind of self practice, austerity, they do it after 3 o'clock, because that time there is a different kind of energy flowing in the cosmos, and either a zikr, a remembrance, or a particular sutra, or a particular mantra, or a particular meditation, it is done that hours, starting from 3 o'clock, because that is the time when the energies are more available to you, but we want to remain asleep. The Master's purpose is to wake you from your deep slumber, so that you do not remain sleeping all that hour. So if you can remain, there is silence in the atmosphere, so you can, that can imbibe into you, and in that state, if you remain silent with your eyes closed, it takes a while before you can listen to the unheard sound, the sound that is not created, not the sound of the birds flying or the birds chirping or anything else, but the sound of the silence. It takes a while, but the moment you are able to listen to 5 sounds, you enter into these 5 sounds. Are not different. There are 5 frequencies that is happening. You are listening to these intermittently. Then you become focused. You can do anything that you wish to do. So that is the time. Ever since I was born, I was infused into this moment. As a child, I used to sleep with my grandfather. He had mentioned to move me from his bed after 3 o'clock. That's the time he goes into intense meditation, energy flow. It is the time that if you want to communicate something to someone, the seekers, because that time either you are for between 3 to 6, a time comes in when a certain moments probably you are connected to the existence, and that moment whatever is communed to you or communicated or the vibrations are sent, they are received. That is, the energy is flowing towards you. Now The energy is there. You have to decipher it. It will happen that suddenly you go into certain things and you feel, this is the thing that I want. This is the thing very close to my heart. And that is how the master discovers the innerness of a seeker and encourages the person to go into that field where he or she will excel the most. And that is so you are going into that moment at that time. So this is active focus, active technique. Remember, memories are never erased. They remain latent or they arise sometimes. Sometimes there is the water of the lake, the surface of the lake is tranquil. There are no ripples. You feel that you have gained inner silence. You are very good. But all of a sudden, a circumstance and situation comes as if a stone, a mischievous child has thrown a piece of a stone in the tranquil water of the lakes. Ripples start arising. They start moving to the surface. So what this stone has done, bring out the disturbance that was hidden under the surface of the tranquility. To each person appears to be very tranquil, very peaceful, but the moment a stone is thrown, a circumstance or situation comes in, that tranquility, that serenity is gone, disappears, and the inner disturbance surfaces. This is the nature of the memory. If I ask you what you did on a particular day, you will not be able to answer. What does it mean? Does it mean that you did not do anything on that particular day? But you feel as if there is a complete, you have gone totally blank. It could not have been blank as it passed. It was filled with certain activities. If I simply ask, what did you do yesterday 8 o'clock in the morning? For a moment you may go blank. You may try to focus it. Similarly, today will become blank tomorrow as well. 10 years from now onwards, there will be no trace of what you did today. If I ask you, what did you listen through this live streaming? What was the focus? What was the theme of that talk? You may not know that. So, it is not that this particular day does not exist or did not exist, or that you did not exist on that day. What is implied? That since you are unable to recall that day, how can you believe that it existed ever? But it did exist, and there is a way to know about it. Meditation can be focused in that direction as well. As soon as the light of meditation falls on that day, to your surprise, you will see that it looks more alive than anything else, more alive than it was before. So one has to be taken to that state. For example, it is like a person has entered into a dark room and he has a flashlight with him. He focuses the flashlight in one particular corner, that gets lighted. Everything in that corner becomes visible, but the other corner, other side, that remains dark. Does it mean that nothing is there in that corner, or everything has disappeared on that side? When you move the light from the left to the right side becomes alive again, and the left side goes into the darkness. This we know very well. When we are searching something, important word, you focus the flashlight in a particular direction and see what you are searching in that corner. If you find it, your journey is finished. If not, then you move the flashlight from that direction to the other and start searching in that until you find. So memories are something that you have to find, and you have to unburden yourself of all those memories. And when these memories are removed, first thing is happens, your eyes get fixed. You can continue to look into my eyes and they will not blink, because blinking of the eyes is directly related to the thought process, the emotional disturbance, what is going on within. I am speaking, the mind is being used as a technique through which the words are formed, the words are chosen, the sentences are formed for the message to be understandable, easily assimilable, and something that you can understand. If I start using the words which you are not familiar with, you will not understand. So mind coordinates all these things, but there is no thought. This is where the words are overflowing, not from the thought, not from the memory, but through the consciousness. You are connected to the consciousness, and consciousness, this is here, the architect, the planner first makes a drawing of a building, architect gives it a different shape, makes a model specifically for if it is a commercial building, and the model, so based on the model people come and look at the model, and if it is a commercial space, then they start booking the place for them, for their own businesses. So at the level of the planner, when he makes the plan from that level, at that plane, looking at that drawing, you cannot understand. Only an architect will understand that. And then architect, based on that, makes his own analysis and inquiries, and then what material and all that with the calculation and everything is required. Then he makes a model of that building. So first of all, the energy is flowing at that level. You cannot see the consciousness. It is the unheard sound which is not created by anyone. It is there. It is the cause of the existence that becomes the consciousness at the level of when it descends from the unknown realm, starts descending. It descends in the form of consciousness. When it reaches the horizon of the mind, it starts assuming the form of words which are assimilable, understandable by the people, and the words overflow, the message is flowing, and you are listening to this. But what happens before this, you cannot understand that. The person has to reach to a certain point when he can connect the very moment you want to use your laptop, but you have not turned it on. You have to turn it on, and then it happens that then a time comes in when it is continuously connected to that unknown source, and it continues to flow. So this does not mean when you focus the light on the left hand corner of the room, whatever is there on the right side have vanished. Meditation has a focus. If one wants to channel it in a particular direction, then it has to be used like a flashlight. All the memories that are there, you have forgotten the memories of the past lives. I do not recall the name of the Western who said that one can go in the memories up to the age of 6 very easily. Beyond that it becomes difficult. There is a particular method of development. So if one wants to turn it towards the divine, then meditation has to be applied like a lamp. Understand this carefully. The lamp has no focus of its own. A lamp merely burns and its light spreads all around. A lamp has no interest in lighting up in one direction or the other. Whatsoever falls within the radius of the light, it gets lit up. But the form of flashlight is like a focused lamp. If the in a flashlight, we keep all the lights and point it towards a particular direction where we want to. So it is possible that under a burning lamp, things may become visible but hazy, and in order to see them clearly, we concentrate the light in a particular direction or a particular place. That is why it is known as flashlight. The light flashes in a particular direction, then things become clearly visible. Otherwise they remain hazy. However, the remaining objects are lost to view. In fact, if a man wants to see the object clearly, he will have to focus his total meditation in one direction only and turn the rest of the area into darkness. When you are looking into the memory, a particular memory of a relationship, you have to put everything else into darkness, only focusing on that. On one's own it is very difficult. But when you are in the company of an awakened one who has known the process, then it becomes easy. One who wants to know the truth of life directly will develop his meditation like a lamp. That will be his sole purpose. And in fact, the lamp is only objective. Lamp's only objective is to see itself. If it can shine this much, it is enough. That is the end of it. But if a special application of the lamp has to be made, special application of the meditative energies to be made, such as remembering the past lives, then meditation has to be channeled in that direction. When you sit down, because on your own it is chaotic. That is the reason that you have put it under the carpet and you do not want to remember it, because the moment you remember it, the pain begins to come to you. But if you want to avoid the pain, you can never transcend beyond that. You have to learn. If a mother wants to avoid the pain of the childbirth, the child will not be born. The joy of giving birth to a child is much more than the labor pain that a mother has to go through it. In order to have the blissfulness of a child, the mother has to go through the pain and suffering at that moment. I will share with you 2 or 3 clues as to how meditation can be channelized in that direction. I will not give you all the clues, because most likely hardly any one of you have any intention of using them, and those who have can see the awakened one personally. So I will mention 2 or 3 clues, which of course won't really enable you to experiment with remembering the past lives, but will give you just an idea, because it is very difficult to bear the labor pain on one's own. The pain, it is like a labor pain. Going through the past memories is very painful. So you must have someone to console you, to bring you out. Yes, I can give you the techniques, but that will not be helpful to you. I don't discuss the whole thing because it is not available to everyone to experiment with the idea. Also, this experiment can often put you in danger. That's why these techniques are not given. Techniques like dynamic meditation, the other meditations techniques can be given and one can do on one's own, because when you are doing catharsis, you are not focusing on anything. Whatsoever comes, or gibberish, whatsoever comes out to your mind, whatsoever comes to the surface, you are just allowing it to throw out, not anything else. But in this particular Jati Samoan method, sometimes this experiment can put you into danger. Let me tell you of an incident, so that what I am saying becomes clear to you. It happened. Osho has mentioned this incident. I will take his anecdote, his experience. He said, once a lady professor came in touch with him. She was very insistent with Jati Samoan on learning about her past lives. Even at times people come, they ask me also to know about the past lives. I just have to pass the topic. So it happened, Osho said, I helped her with the experiment. However, I also advised that it would be better if she didn't do the experiment until her meditation has fully developed. For that, your meditation need to be fully developed, and if the meditation is developed, you can direct the energy in that particular direction. It will be dangerous. As it is very difficult to bear the memories of a single life. We are living in a free society. We are free to have living relations. Now the system of getting married and living together is not so prevalent. Along with that, a living relationship has become very important. We have many relations, entered into relationship, things work for some time, then start getting sour, and then it is abandoned. So it is very difficult to bear the memories of a single life. Should the memories of past 3 or 4 lives break the barrier and flood in, it's like from a dam where the water is accumulated during the rainy season. When there is a dry season or drought, in a controlled manner, water is released from the dam to channel through various canals, go in the different direction. If all of a sudden the dam breaks its barriers, there will be flood. There will be chaos. Similarly, these memories had to be brought in a very controlled manner under the guidance of someone who knows about it, who knows how to release. There is a specific person. It is planned before how much water is to be released, so that the reservoir does not get over full with the memories. So sometimes existence does it and releases certain memories, and you would have seen all of a sudden, if certain memories surface, that creates a chaos in your life, and it becomes very difficult for you to control. Sometimes when you get up in the morning one day, you realize that all of a sudden a window was open. From that light, from that window opening, certain memories have flooded into your conscious mind. You remain upset for the whole day. So it is very difficult even to go through the memories of the one life, and should the memories of past 1 or 2 lives break the barriers and flood in, you will go mad. That is why nature has planned it in such a way that we go on forgetting the past. The moment child is born, comes into life, all the memories of the past are in a way erased. It is through the meditative process, when you go into that through the Jati Samoan method, you can systematically erase those memories. When you are erasing the photographs from your smartphone, you just do not go and haphazardly remove all those. Some of them may be very pleasant. Some of these memories you want to keep it. Others which are duplicate, let us look at it. Two relationships. It begins maybe different way, but all ends up into chaos in one particular way. So there is a duplication of the memories, just like a duplicate photographs. So you want to erase all those duplicate. Nature has planned it, so we go on forgetting the past. Nature has given a greater ability to forget more than you can remember, so that your mind does not get burdened and it can carry certain amount of memories. A heavy burden can be borne only after the capacity of your mind is increased. The capacity of the mind increases through the meditation process. You can watch, you are watching this live, you can see my eyes do not blink. A heavy burden can be borne only after the capacity of the mind to bear that is increased, and trouble begins when the weight of these memories fall on you before its capacity has increased. That is why it is very dangerous to practice this method on its own. I have avoided speaking on this method for a long time, although I gave references. But Osho says this professor remained persistent. She paid no attention to the advice given to her, and she went into the experiment. When the flood of the past, when the past memories break open their barriers and finally burst upon her, she came running early in the morning, 2 o'clock, and was in a total mess, in a state of distress. And then she wanted to stop. And she said, I don't want to look at this side of the things. But it is not easy to stop the tide of memory once it has broken loose. When the tides have, before the tides, high tides comes in, we put the sand barriers so that the water does not break, the ocean does not break its barriers. It is very difficult to shut down once the crash has begun. The door does not simply open. It's like you open the door and you come out, but it breaks open. And then it took almost 15 days. Only then the wave of the memories could stop, and that is the problem. The person, that professor, used to claim that she was very pious, a woman of implacable character, when she encountered the memories of her past life. That is why when I look at anyone, I know how tranquil you are. You may be telling me that you are very tranquil, this and that, but I am seeing something else. What is under the surface that you have hidden? Sometimes your gestures, the moment you come in front of the light, no matter what happens there, your reality begins to, no matter how much makeup you put, the moment you come in front of the X-ray vision, it shows the things within. She claimed herself that everyone does, that everyone is of implacable character. The problem was or is not with me but with the other. When she encountered the memories of her past lives, in one of the lives she was a prostitute, and the scenes of her prostitution begin to emerge. Her whole being was shaken. Her whole morality of this life was disturbed, that she was a pious character of impeccable character. In this sort of revelation, it is not as if the vision belongs to someone else. It is not someone else's vision that is there. The same woman who claimed to be chaste now saw herself as a prostitute. It often happens that someone who was a prostitute in the past lives becomes deeply virtuous in the next life. It is a reaction to the suffering of the past lives. Whatever we do, whatever we plant today, we reap the fruits accordingly. It is the reaction of the suffering of the past lives. It is the memory of the pain and the hurt of the previous life that turns her into a chaste woman. If you have suffered in a particular way, if you are trying a particular dish and you are failing again and again, you will change it. And you will look at the new techniques. It often happens that people who were sinners in the past lives become saints in this life. In Ramayana, the one who composed the first Ramayana, Valmiki, he was a robber. He was staying in the forest, and anyone passing through that side, he used to rob them. It happened once. The wandering sage Narad passed through. He was ready to rob him. Narad asked him 2 questions. Why are you robbing the people? He said, for the maintenance of my family, I am doing that. So he said, I will tell you to go and ask your family members for whom you are doing this act of robbing. Will they bear the fruits or the punishment when it comes to you? He said, you seem to be very smart. The moment I turn, you will run away. He said, no, I promised you, you can tie me up. So Ratnakar was his name. Then he tied him up. And he went and he asked his parents, I am doing this to maintain yourself. If a punishment comes in, will you bear that punishment? He said, why should I? I have not done anything. Whatever wrongs you have done or doing, Do you think for whom you are doing this, are they going to bear the pain? While cooking something, your hand gets burnt, you are doing the cooking for the sake of others, and in the process the hand gets burnt. Will bear the pain of that, or the pain will go to them? No, because you have done this, it will go only to you. So they refused. They said, no, we will not. So he returns and he said, what should I do then? All my parents and family members have refused to bear the punishment of my acts, which I am doing for their sake. What to do? Tell me the way. He was a robber, illiterate, so you cannot tell him the direct way. He knows only death, death, death. Hindi word for death is mara. This one died, mara. So he said, you only use this word mara, mara, mara. When you say this word mara 2 times, the sound comes out ram. Mara, mara, mara. And if you really listen to opposites, the sound comes out, and he became enlightened in that. And then he was chosen. His name became Valmiki. He was the sage, the guide of the kingdom to which the Hindu god Ram belonged, and he was his master. And it is in his commune Ram and his children were sent to study, and he wrote the story of Ram that is known as Ramayana. Often someone he was a sinner in this life, but the life transformed. Sometimes it happens you have lived a life a particular way, but all of a sudden a change happens. Your life becomes different. You introspect and look at it. What was your life 10 years ago or 20 years ago, and now what change has taken place, and what has made this change happen into your life? Hence, there is quite a deep relationship between sinner and saint. Your particular way of thinking and currently now. Such a reaction often takes place, and the reaction is when we come to know what hurts us, and so we do swing to the opposite extreme. The way your life has been, it was hurting you, it was creating chaos in your life, so you switched over. The pendulum of our mind keeps on moving in the opposite direction. No sooner does the pendulum reach the left, then it begins to move back to the right. It barely touches the right when it swings back to the left. When you see the pendulum of a clock moving towards the left, it is assured that it will gather energy, momentum to move back to the right side. In moving towards the right, it gains momentum to return back to the left, and vice versa. It will go as far as to the right as it has gone to the left. Hence in life often it happens that a virtuous person becomes a sinner, and a sinner becomes the virtuous. It's a matter of time. It is very common that this sort of oscillation happens in everyone's life. Do not think, therefore, that it is a general rule that one who has become holy in this life must have been holy in the past. When you look at your own life now and what it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, it was totally opposite. What is necessary is the exact reverse of it. He has laden with pain of what he went through in the past, that he has turned to the opposite. A turn came into when you reach to the pendulum reaches barely to the left, it moves towards the right. He has been living a particular kind of a life of a robber, robbing people for the sake of the maintenance of his family. Now a swing comes in, the pendulum moves from that life to the other opposite. This happens, and there are laws at work behind these happenings. So when a memory of the past came back to this lady professor, she was hurt. She felt hurt because her ego was shattered. What she learned about her past life shook her completely, and now she wants to forget again. She was warned in the first place not to recall the past memories without sufficient preparation. If suddenly the door opens of your past memory, are you ready to bear that pain? You need someone. So that is why in most of the cases during the pregnancy we move to the hospital where there are persons who are capable of handling every situation. They take you into Lame's method of natural childbirth or give you certain exercises to dilate the cervix that it becomes ready for the childbirth. Since you have asked, I will tell you a few basic things so that you can understand the meaning of Jati Samran, but they won't help you to experiment with it. Those who wish to experiment will have to look into separately. Buddha called this as alay vigyan. There exists a corner in our minds which Buddha has named as alay vigyan, means the storehouse of consciousness. A storehouse of the consciousness, as in your house, in every room, there is a garbage bin where you put all the garbage of the day, and next day you remove it. Buddha has called this alay vigyan. There exists a corner in our mind which Buddha had named alay vigyan, the storehouse of consciousness. As we store all our junks in the basement of the house, similarly there is a storehouse of consciousness that collects all the memories. like the garbage bin. Birth after birth, everything is stored in it. Nothing is ever removed from there, because a man never knows when he might need those things. So you keep a place in the basement. My father was accustomed of collecting, if he is breaking a piece something and there are nails bent, this and that, and all kind of junk he will accumulate it. He said, no, leave them somewhere or the other. Sometimes I will need. So it does happen that sometimes all of a sudden you need a nail for some purpose, so you go into that a junk box and you find a nail that you straighten it to use. Birth after birth, everything is stored in it. Nothing is ever removed from there, because a man never knows when he might need those things. The physical body changes, but in our ongoing existence, that storehouse continues and remains with us. One never knows when it might be needed, and whatsoever we have done in our lives, whatsoever we have experienced, known, lived, everything is stored there. One who can remember to the age of 5 can go beyond the age. It is not very difficult. The nature of experiment will be the same. Beyond the age of 5, it is like a door is now, and there is a door. You can reach up to here. But beyond the age of 5, there is yet another door which will lead you to the point of your birth, to when you appeared on the earth. Again a door comes in. Then one comes across another difficulty, because the memories of one's stay in the mother's womb never disappears either. One can penetrate those memories too when you were conceived and you stayed in the mother's womb, reaching to the point of conception. When ovum and sperm interacted with one another, conception happened, to the moment when the genes of the mother and the father united for the soul to enter. A man can enter into his past lives only after having reached this point. First experiment you have to do, you have to go up to the memory of age 5. Then a door opens, you are reaching to the womb, then to the conception. A man can enter into past lives only after having reached this point. He cannot move into them directly. One has to undertake this much of the return journey. It is like a return journey. Only then it is possible to move into one's past lives as well. After having entered into past lives, the first memory comes up will be of the last event that took place in that life. If you are leaving this world, are dying consciously, this memory of conscious entry into death will become the beginning. When you go to sleep and the last thought that remains on your mind before you fell asleep will become the first thought when you wake up in the morning. This always happens. So those who have attained to a higher degree of consciousness, they have left their lives consciously and they can choose their parents. It's not that an awakened one can choose the parent in the next life, just as when you are traveling, you can choose the hotel where you are going to stay in that particular city because you have a choice. Now, earlier on it was not. When you reach to the place, you reach the airport, only then but you cannot review the hotel facilities. Now the facilities are available. You are traveling to DC or any other country, so you can look at the facilities, the hotel accommodation, their rates and everything, and then you can decide which one you want to stay in. So an awakened one who leaves the world consciously has the choice, because you have a certain standard, you have to do certain explorations, so you choose the area. So for instance, in case of mine, I had to choose a life where I can grow. I had known certain things, I have continued my journey, but I need to go to a professor, to a master who can take me beyond that, up to whatever I had known up to now, but beyond that. So the best possibility, best accommodation that was available was of the Naqshbandi Tariqat. So my grandfather was a Naqshbandi Sheikh. So it was a congenial environment where I can grow spiritually, continue to grow spiritually, and this is how it happens. I will continue in this here because this is here, I do not want to rush it in a particular manner that it becomes, I just hurriedly rush up and then it is not explained properly. So I will have to leave it for now until next week when we continue on it, because much more needs to be explained in this field. Until then, take care and do have a pleasant day.